Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV. My name is Bella. I am a presenter and hostess of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. The show is about to begin. I want you to give this video a cheeky little like and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. As you must agree that I am better looking than Mark Goldbridge, so what are you waiting for? Just do it. Smash that like button now. Let's go Reds. Buckle up. Get ready to rumble.
It's time to go!
It's time to move on, and to move on is also have new ownership, Tom, isn't it? Like, you know, I just want to hear with you, Tom. Yeah, I haven't been able to talk to you. I saw you DM me something, but you know, can you just briefly run down, you know, a little bit what you've been hearing this couple of days here?
Yeah, well, it was more based really upon the Shieikh, Jassims and the Qatari side, and that's really been elemented from the interview that David Beckham briefly gave when he was at the Qatar Formula One, and you know, reiterating that Manchester United, you know, the club, the stature of it, he knows the right people that had run United, and you know, he was asked the question, "Is that Shieikh Jassims?" and he didn't exactly say yes. He didn't confirm nor deny. And the one thing that we know regarding the 9-2 Foundation is that contacts, from my colleagues' understanding, is that contact's been made with two mainstream ex-Manchester United players, one of whom we know is David Beckham, and he was approached 2 months ago regarding becoming either a club ambassador or either a senior director, with more to the point of the latter, leaning towards what Beckham would prefer, due to he already runs and owns a team in Inter Miami, so having a seat on the board and directorship role would be a lot easier for him to run both his own club and also be a major benefactor in United. But also, he would want a decision-making role if he would to go in a partnership with the Qataris. And with Beckham, he would be set to have a role. It's understood that even if he isn't currently right now, as we understand it, he's not a part of the group to bid and buy it. So he's not within the group who's trying to buy the club. However, they want him to be one of the faces of United.
Yes.
And effectively, in the same point, the Qataris are planning also, if they win the football club in the bidding, they want to retain Sir Alex Ferguson as the leading club ambassador. And they also potentially want to bring David Gill back into the phrase and put him in more of a leadership on the directorship role and have him as a leader on the board. So effectively, the Qataris' model and plan is they want to have an experienced sort of guard and leisure in terms of a mixture, because you have the experience and the qualification of board members and directors, either an ex-player like David Beckham, an ex-executive likes of a David Gill, and a club ambassador who's been really your mainstream guy in Sir Alex Ferguson for all those years. You have the experience from every aspect: directorship in David Gill, management in terms of Sir Alex Ferguson, and playing squad in terms of David Beckham. You've got the three, you've got the lot. And then you have ambitious owners in, say, the Qataris, who have the finances behind them to be successful and put the money in with the aim that they want to take Manchester United back to the top of the tree.
Okay. That's what it's been coming from your end in that case.
I've tried to, guys, break it down for you from top to bottom. There is
what if I told you that this is old news? This is slow sports news. Would you believe me?
Regarding what?
Regarding this.
What, David Beckham and Sir David Gill and all them? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, if you just think about it, you know, this was 92 Holding Foundation. Where did this come from? 92. Class of 92, yeah. Okay.
Class of 92, yeah.
All right. Can you remove this chat, please? Thank you, moderator. Just go back 5 months, 6 months in timeline, if you remember. So people don't remember. But, you know, when Sheikh Jassim came into the fray, the registered company name 92 Holding Foundation, they were speaking to ex-legends from Class 92 to have a leading role. Even Bex was linked to that role as well, if you remember. You know, there were speculations, right? It's been always in discussions. So if you go back, this been, I just took Strategy News here for an example. There's been numerous articles written about 5-6 months ago. If you just go back in time, and that Sheikh Jassims says he wants ex-key players to be part of the takeover bid, meaning he mentioned 3 legends and a couple of more from the class of 92 and 99, like, Champions League winning team. So what we're seeing here emerging right now, it's a little bit of an old reiterating news, which is like, I just want to put this to the fray. Does this ring any bells? What do you see here as a puzzle?
Well, of course, you see the players that have been statutory figures for United for many years, but the difference with what is that Sheikh Jassim, maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, he wanted to have legends involved. They've made contact, is the difference, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They've made the
but
contact
I'm saying
with
that
these professionals to
the
say,
formation of
we want you
92
involved.
holding, the formation of the name 92 comes from this formation as well. You have Beckham, that is a ambassador of Qatar already with the Qatar World Cup. Okay, you have also ambassador of Qatar is also who? Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand gets information. Rio Ferdinand got slated in his 5 for 5 because they know shit, right? Beckham knows shit because he speaks directly to 92 Holding Foundation. And then the weirdest shit ever is the sponsorship of the third away kit from Roy Kean. Roy Kean never does that. Roy Kean hates the Glazers. He fell out with Alex Ferguson. Now the puzzle is there. The articles are saying 3-4, right? Gary Neville, I don't think so. Gary Neville is way too political and way too embedded with his pundit career. But Rio Ferdinand, 100%. He got slated because he got told, and he got told from 92 Holding Foundation. Beckham, he if you looked at his smirk, I know somebody that could be a good runner. They know shit. That's what I'm telling you, right? So that's why I'm saying the stars are aligning, because if you go back to in the beginning, 5 months ago, there was articles written like this, and now one by one is coming out to show the true colors. Right? Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I can tell you certain things, but I just wanted you guys to sort of remember, open up your eyes, and don't be like Doris Goldfish, because it's all printed. Right? Any further? Do you want to discuss this, or I just want to bring this to the stage, because it was no coincidence when I saw Beckham, because Beckham has always been like part of the in the beginning when it came out with Dubai or Qatar. Beckham, because there was talking about somebody's going to be the face out. Now the question is, who do you reckon will be? I mean, what you mentioned, Tom. Who wants to have more of a senior position out of those 3? Certainly will be Beckham. Beckham, because he runs Miami. To have him on the board as a director position and influencer, that'd be great. As ambassadors, these 2 are excellent. Like, Kean sets good example of leadership, and Rio Ferdinand. He loves the club. He runs a YouTube channel. He's still active with the club, and he speaks good sense.
Yeah, of course. But even with Rio Ferdinand, he still has those connections with the club. He's got to for what he does with his media work with TNT Sports, as it's branded now. So he has the connections and he has the knowledge within the club. And it's not just about having the financing in place to do a project. You need the actual figures and people who've been there and done it before. And at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise me that you have Sheikh Jassim, that he wants to have, say, David Beckham involved should he be successful. It doesn't surprise me he wants Rio Ferdinand to have some sort of figure in it. It doesn't surprise me that he wants to retain Sir Alex Ferguson and have David Gill and almost bring back the old guard into the new era. It doesn't surprise me about this. But the one thing that I would probably stress and say about it is, when Sheikh Jassim insisted that he would come into United, he'll clear the debt, he'll do basically everything that every United fan could dream and wish of. The one thing that we all said was, if he doesn't get the club structure in principle and in place, everything that he says, he can say, but do it. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people want. They've been fed up of the actual broken promises that this ownership has had, the Glazer family, and that the directors have always said over the years, Richard Arnold's, Ed Woodward's, we know. But the one thing that the Qataris have always insisted upon is, if you get the financing behind you, but you can also get the club structure together, and they go hand in hand, you've got something. And it doesn't matter if you're on a lower level scale like a Brighton, like you know, some with Tony Bloom and what De Zerbe and with what the directors have there, Paul Barber. There's a pyramid. As we spoke about this, me, Jarvis, Nuruddin, and Saeed earlier on United Real Therapy. The pyramid's there, but at the end of the day, if you have it with Sheikh Jassim and he insists that I want to have the legends involved within this football club, why not? What's stopping him? And with Beckham, I think it's a prime example because he loves Manchester United. He is still a fan of this football club, and out of I think a lot of the ex-players at United, I think if we're talking about players after football, he's probably been the most successful out of the lot of them because he doesn't rely on being a mainstream media pundit or a commentator, an analyst. He's been out there and he's got his own team. And Inter Miami right now, it was worth around $50 million when they bought it. It's worth well over $1 billion now. So the partners that he had in place to do that, I mean, like you say, he has the influence on people and he's got the experience to back it up as well.
100%. No, I'm just telling you, there's certain things that, there's NDAs in place, and I'm bound to that because if I've been told things that I trust, because I know people in the 92 holdings, due to I worked in high level positions down there in Qatar, Dubai, and everything. So but there's certain things that if somebody tells you anything, you just keep it to yourself, right? Because they have NDAs. But at the end of the day, this is not NDA, and the reason why they formed the 92 Holding Foundation was because they play the class of 92, right? Because he's going to have ex-players, ex-legends to be involved as ambassadors and stuff like that. And now it's coming out more and more evidently, right? For me, I've been always say all roads leads to Qatar. Anything else is just smokescreen at the moment. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is it's been dead out of the water, and this is the last throw of the dice. 25%. He's not going to opt his bid. Because his bid, Tom, if you go back, even Ben Jacobs and all them once said it's 7.2, 7.3 billion, right? Yeah. Now the figure is not. They don't mention this figure anymore. It's all backtracking the figures, but maybe that is the sweet spot that they hit. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they went the back door and they asked the Glazers, enough of this. How much are you willing? How much? I'm buying 100%. And that is the figure that is the figure that Ratcliffe cannot compete with.
I mean,
so that's why you see.
Look at it from this perspective, mate. The Glazer family, in this, and I'll say it for this, they haven't been the people to instigate the contact with Ratcliffe. The Rain Group put the two of them together, and they've been the middleman. The Glazer family, personally, as themselves, went to Nasser Al Khalifi, the leading figure of Qatar's sort of football network and globalized sports. They went to basically the sporting figure of Qatar and said, we want you to influence and we want your advice in this. We want you to speak to Sheikh Jassim and we want the bid to improve on their offers. It's coincidence that they did that. It's been PR'd out there that Nasser Al Khalifi didn't have any influence on the bid. I think we can all say it for what it is. If it's a state-backed bid, the guy knows it and he's got involvement in it. Let's be real. When you want to go down the path that the Glazer family have done, they instigate the contact with Nasser Al Khalifi, and suddenly then straight after it wasn't even 48 hours after, Sheikh Jassim bid for a fifth time. I mean, come on, guys. We're not.
No, it was never a fifth bid.
You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes in this case to realise that. But the one thing that we know with the Qataris anyway, and I'm sure you'll probably reiterate this, Mick, is they've never ruled out bidding again anyway. They've never said that we're not gonna. There's no reason for us not to just blow up and just pay the $6 billion, or we'll bid again, or we'll bid until the depths.
Listen,
they don't need to change anything. They sit comfortably because Ratcliffe, as we say, it's one last roll of the dice. And if this doesn't pay off, he's got nothing left.
If that doesn't pay off, they would just, if they feel threatened, then they will come in and blow the rest out of the water. But now they're sitting tight with, straight flush on the hands. And that's what it's always been. You haven't heard much noise because they're confident, I've been comfortably saying that they have won the bid, because I've been doing this for months and months, 10 months. If you just go back in my timeline on the Glazed Out document is detailed, right? But at the end of the day, I just got tired of doing this. You know what I mean? So what are we waiting for? Like, I just want to go back in timeline a little bit, if you don't mind. Like, I just want to, because I've done so many videos, but I want to bring this up, like, to show you who the owners are, like, the way that I know them. Are you okay with that, guys? Okay. A little bit flashback. There's been downplayment to say, like, oh, well, can we remove this identity? He's not real. He's a phantom, right? And it's just a fallacy. One clown show after another. Well, we clearly saw in the beginning where 9-2 Foundation came to visit Carrington. They stayed there for about 12 hours. You saw like Shahzad Shabazz, which is the gentleman here, and also the president of Sheikh Jassims 9-2 Foundation, alongside with Qatari banker Fadi Bakos, Sam Powers, and Yasir Shah for Bank of America, right? This was clearly documented. So he's not a phantom. We will dive right into it. So on another hand, I want to sort of break something for you as well. Listen, there was the back of the question where they were asking about, is he real? Like they may try to make that he wasn't real. You remember this, Tom?
Oh, so Tom had to go.
He had to go.
He had to go. Okay. All right. So we're going to dive into the overall who they are and what they got formation. And this is information that I can share with you because, there was on the 15th of June also coming out, there was a certification of a corporation of private limited company, which was 9-2 UK Holdings, right? Yet again, mysterious way. The British press downplayed it as well. But me, on the other hand, that had the finger on the pulse with Qatar. I have a trade license from the original Qatar Financial Centers where the 9-2 Holding LLC was established in 20, I think it was 28th of April this year. But that's what I'm trying to say. The name 92 Holding Foundation, it's a brainstorming idea, and basically it is to sort of, everyone knows 92, right? Class of 92, Legends of 99. And if you tie in this story that's coming out now, is pretty much slow push news is old news, right? Clearly the ambassador's been involved, and they're going to have a role. And now the stars are aligning. Like, we see Rio Ferdinand coming out. I believe Rio is going to have a role. I believe Beck's going to have a role. I believe that Kean's going to have a role. I just want to tie the dots here with you because I've been doing all this groundwork and everything. The stars are aligning. Let's continue. 20th of April, 2023. Let's dive right into what this is. In essence of the registration of the 9-2 Holdings UK LLC that we've seen on the 15th of June, one need to turn to a significant document of the parent company, which is 9-2 Holdings LLC, that was established actually on the 20th of April 2022. We need to look at the Qatari Financial Centers original business registrations license, which is QFC number 01880. In order to understand, we need to understand the business activities the holding companies are having and including, which is comprising of 6 points that I want to cover with you to understand what company or formation 9-2 Holdings LLC is in terms of being the owner of Manchester United. Number one is owning and maintaining one or more subsidiaries. So what does that mean? So 9-2 Holdings LLC is like a group of companies. This is the parent holding company, and underneath it's kind of like an umbrella. Underneath you have your children, which means that number two, you're granting any type of security interest over its assets, tangible or intangible, including but not limited to receivables. That means shares, real or personal rights, interests of options or privileges of any kind whatsoever in or in respect to any of such assets for its own benefit, for the benefit of any entity within the holding group company. So that means that they are providing an indemnity guarantee or similar support to any third party of its own benefit or for the benefit of the entire entity of the holding group companies, basically. That means that we are providing a guarantee. You know, we are being the parent company. Underneath, we have our children. We make sure that every single company within this holding group are successfully, you know, profitable as well. So if you understand that they will never let this down fail, because that's the model in a way, they're built as a parent company, and underneath you have different subsidiaries, and it's like you're not really taking a loan, but it's the parent company that are funding it, and they make sure that everyone is successful. And then you kind of see how Abu Dhabi is operating as well, with the city, with all these entities, but you know, the Middle Eastern business owners and sheikhs own. They want success, and in order to do so, they have the best in class. They have the right processes in place, and just giving you sort of a little bit of an educational how it works. So this is kind of the overall business license and what is the main objective of 92 Holding Foundation, right? That means that the acquisition, holding, or disposal of any interest in any asset, like Manchester United, whether tangible or intangible, for its own benefit or for the benefit of any entity within the holding group company. Now it comes down to a very interesting point. Number 5, providing any type of loan or other form of financing to any entity within the holding group companies, and any activities which are ancillary to the above, to the activities set under the points 1 and 5. So that might sound a little bit strange to you, but it's typical normal. Like, it's not a loan because they're providing Islamic banking. That means it's not the loan. It's pretty much an investment in the, you know, backing, you know, providing financial backing to any of those companies, which they are providing a guarantee, immediate guarantee to be successful. They're pretty much investing and backing themselves to say, hey, we are a holding company. We are 92 Holding, you know, and within this, we make sure that there is always cash flow to distribute to any of your children. That's pretty much it from a layman's term. And this, of course, is coming directly from Qatar Financial Center, where it was actually registered April 20th, 2023, signed and sealed, delivered as well. So hope this gives you a little bit of an indication of what kind of company or holding group 92 Holding Foundation is. It's not state-backed. It is a holding company registered within Qatar Financial Center. Now, of course, the details of this registration, of course, if you look at it, right, it's clearly understood that, you know, now I'm just going to go into the, you know, the director's test and who's going to be involved. The ambassadors will discuss. Not yet 100% confirmed, but we're just tying the dots here, like, you know, in terms of Beckham, you know, in terms of Rio Ferdinand, in terms of, you know, Roy Kean promoting the third kit and stuff like that. So now everything, the stars are aligning, the dots are aligning from my end as well. And I hope you can understand this is for educational purposes. So let's continue. As we saw on the documentation, the directors of that LLC is Abdullah Rahman Abdullah Al Ansari. Also, Sheikh Jassim is listed as directors of that holding company. You also see lodged is the secretary, Fadi Bakos. Interesting. Let's have a look at the overall registration. Looking back at the structure, we're seeing clearly that Sheikh Jassim is part of the directors as well. So who is Sheikh Jassim? Let's debunk the myth, because people says, oh, he's a phantom, he doesn't really exist. Well, he's actually the director of and chairman of Qatar Islamic Bank, the QIB, also member of the Qatari royal family. He spent much of his youth in United Kingdom, in Plymouth, to be fair, where he studied, took an undergraduate studies, I think it was business and finance, according to a LinkedIn profile. You know, he spent much of his youth in UK, apparently a Manchester United supporter, and he's going to Dorset before studying at the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst. So there you go. His resume is all about banking. He's about 44 years old. He's a banker through and through. Qatar Investment Bank, many assignments, vice chairman's been involved with, you know, Qatari, you know, when it was the World Cup and all that stuff. So it's a little bit mystery, but, you know, he's a royal. And at the end of the day, you know, royals don't attend bidding processes. It is basically the heavy lifters like Shabazz and everyone else that's been involved with the Rain Group and the Glazers. Now, talking about Shabazz, Shahzad Shabazz, who is he? Who is Shahzad Shabazz? Well, we see that he's been mentioned in many articles. He's been so, guys. Shahzad Shabazz has been the main heavy lifter in this, Night 2 Holding Foundation. He was spotted early, like at Carrington. Shabazz comes with over 25 years of investment banking experience, like from Bank of America, from Standard Chartered and all that stuff. So this guy is heavyweight, right? He's one of the well-known, so basically best-in-class people, guys, and also Fadi Bakos as well. We're talking about the most experienced guys. So when Qatar goes in, they're going heavy, not to lose, just to sort of bring that to the table. Spotted at Carrington when they had that presentation on the second bidding round. Shahzad Shabazz, according to my knowledge and understanding, is one of the well-known astute bankers in the world. Crucial. He's been holding several CEO positions. He spent 13 years with Bank of America. Prior to that, with a lot of Middle Eastern companies, like Chief Executive Officer with Q Invest LLC, CEO for MB Invest as well, CEO for Emirates MBD Bank. But you know what? This is a heavyweight, and he's more of a advisor, acting as the CEO within this bidding takeover process. But it's also assumed that he most likely will be the CEO and the chairman of Manchester United in the takeover. When I say with chairman, that means that typical what you have with the Manchester City, you have a CEO and you have a chairman above, and the chairman above is more the spokesperson, communicating to the fans, and stuff like that. And that's a total different structure. But who is the main bank of Manchester United? Is Bank of America. And who holds the most bonds and debts of Manchester United PLC? Bank of America. Who is having 20 years of experience working as CEO of Bank of America? Shahzad. So I hope this makes sense. That is just speculation. Fadi Bakos was also somebody that we saw on the incorporation certification license. And you know what? Fadi Bakos is a Lebanese gentleman that spent most of his time within a legal sector. He studied at London Business School in UK as well. Senior legal counsel. So that's more of a legal advisory throughout the bidding process. Fadi is, what I understood, a very, very good negotiator and has an eye out for details. So because there's been a lot of due diligence, cross checks and lists, and Fadi's been leading up that process. He's been also incorporated as a secretary. So one can assume that Fadi will hold a role within the new establishment. So Fadi Bakos is also one of the directors that's going to be in part, because he's listed as secretary, so I just wanted to sort of bring that to the attention, and Manchester United. Last but not least, you have Abdullah Al Ansari, which is well-sourced connection from mine from LinkedIn as well. He's sitting there as, been registered in both the Qatar LLC incorporation and the UK incorporation of 9-2 Holding. Right. So Abdullah, as far as I know, he's a very astute gentleman, studied over in UK. He's a legal counsel as well. Good history in the fields of information technology, sports, shipping, logistics, services. But his main, his main experience is being the legal advisor in terms of, being investor relationships, board director, secretary, and being a legal counsel in general. So Abdurrahman, to me, will play a important part. He's very good friends with Sheikh Jassim since childhood. He's somewhat, you can call Sheikh Jassim's left hand. But what do I know? It is, and that's where the buck stops for me in terms of NDAs.
Yes.
That's all I can share. But for me, I hope this makes sense to you, because from an educational standpoint, I said there's NDAs and there's certain things that you can explain how things are working, who they are, just to give you a little bit of a, concept of how things going to look. And if you've seen, that business registration license, it's not so easy to obtain either. But when you get shared certain information that you can share with the Manchester United fans, yes, sure, fine. Do I know when the announcement will be? No, I don't. I'm not part of that delegation. The sole purpose for this channel is always been one thing only, and that's been glazes out, green and gold until we're sold. And we're not here to tell you who's right, who's wrong. We're not here to tell you what's the right bid, who's the wrong bid. It's always been glazes out from day one. Even when me and Jarvis was the only channel sitting here covering the protest, we did a marathon. Nobody did it. Just me and Jarvis, and we had a lot of people calling in because we really care. Right? Indeed. So I hope this makes sense, and when I saying that you shouldn't downplay Neil Custis, that said that, that you will hear something coming in soon.
Yeah, he said, did he say October? He said October, didn't he?
Yeah, but Neil Custis has been around for quite a while. He's well connected within the seniors, David Gills and all them, you know what I mean? So, and what's been baffling me to watch this from the sidelines is to see the so-called sports journalists, slugging it out with the, Reuters and Bloomberg's that has no dog in the fight. Because I understand it's a big story. It's like, they want to keep this going because they made millions out of these clicks, right? On the other hand, like, we've been sitting here for months and months and months and doing educational podcasts, had numerous people on board. Like, we had Swedish Rumble here. We had Paul White, numerous. Who else did we have? Many, many people, like, and Phil Brown as well, everyone. And working with 9558 and Unite Against the Glazes. And the Thin Red Lines is like, I'm a Red Patriot. I love this club. This is my family, right? And I woke up one year ago and said, enough is enough. I started this channel to sort of have a platform, have a voice, to provide a voice of reason to everyone can be. Like, I'm not tied by editorials like you are. Like, I'm independent. So therefore I can roam free. I'm not all about Twitter to say, like, this will happen, this will happen. It's not about sensational. It's about doing the right thing, and I believe that, today's journalists are not doing the right thing. They're not giving you the right facts, right? They're just spinning. But if you just go on the sensation Beckham, I just want to break it to say, like, I wanted to do this video, but I said, look, this is slow sports news. This is old, right? So I just proven the point here. Yeah, no, for me, I don't want any credit. I just want this to end. I just want these glazes. We're not saying definitely. What the problem is with today's people, like, how should I articulate? Whatever I'm saying here, it's not 100%. I don't want to say 100%. I don't want to say definitely. I'm presenting you my thoughts, what I understand. If this is going to happen, I'm not part of that. You know what I mean? I'm not part of the negotiation. I'm not part of being a part of Rain Group and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is, Beckham, if you go back there, just go back in time before Qatar, before even this Qatar was announced. There was even speculations, even coming out from my good friend as well. Phil Brown was saying, Beckham, don't be surprised, Beckham. Phil Brown mentioned it as well. He was.
Yeah, he did.
But the thing is that people nowadays have a very short memory span, like Doris the Goldfish in Nemo, Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah.
And this is media is doing that deliberately by overflowing you with information so you forget. But everything is there. You cannot rewrite history.
Yeah. Mick, I'm just going to ask one question to both of you. Beckham, Kean, and Rio as coming in as ambassadors, or what do you want to call them? What role will they actually have? Will they just be like poster boys for us fans to stand behind, or will they have any actual?
That's what you don't know. That's why I don't know.
What can we expect?
They will have some form of cultural ambassador role, because to bring back the old DNA again, because that's been lost. That's what my understanding. But what roles they will have within the organization, I have no idea, right? As what Tom was saying, one wants to be part of the board, wants to have a directorship, makes more sense. I understand. I don't see Kean as being a company man. Kean would be more of an ambassador.
Yeah,
Rio can fit there.
What can they bring to the table To be honest, you know, what kind
Well,
of like,
one needs to be a bridge.
they have? No,
Okay.
none of them have any other than
Okay,
football.
hypothetically speaking, this
As
is
far as I know.
okay. Hypothetically speaking, what this is me speaking though. This is the way I'm thinking. They worked in organizational change management with people and culture on global scale. One thing that this club has been missing is communication, right? So one of them would probably be a bridge and ambassador between the fans and the club, right? As a spokesperson, the briefing what's going on, pure communication. The manifesto has been, one of the Sheikh Jassims manifestos as well, to have clear-cut communication, something that the Glazers don't do, because their families' tradition is always don't speak to anyone, don't speak to the press. But the clear communication needs to be somebody with an ambassador that understands the fans, that the fans adore and love, and they understands the club. So there I see, like, Rio Ferdinand will fit in perfectly fine,
Yeah.
He's well spoken. He knows the fans. He connects well with the fans. He runs his own fan channel as well, 5 for 5. Makes perfect sense to have Rio as a, what do you call it? Would you say fan ambassador or?
Yeah, be a fan ambassador. I can see Beckham on the board for sure.
Beckham on the board, 100%, because he's more business guy. Definitely.
Yeah, he is, and also Sheikh Jassim Qatari, or actually whoever took over, would know they would need that link. That Beckham link, because all it'll do, it'll refocus everything on Manchester United again because of who Beckham is. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Where do I
Kean,
see Roy Keane? I see him as a dressing room ambassador.
Oh, fucking hell,
Oh yeah,
imagine.
dressing room ambassador. He was standing there like in a halftime, like, oi, like Roy Kent
in the corner.
You get in there, Simbin.
Yeah.
Some discipline ambassador, maybe. I don't know. What's
When
Royden Frost saying here?
I'm just gonna be honest, Mick. When I hear names like this, I don't know. It feels like I see even Bosic had a good comment here, but I'm not sure how relevant it is. But he says that Beckham as face if Qatar is sport washing at its finest.
But what is sports washing?
From both sides, because I'm not going to say
I don't understand. I've been covering this. Jesus Christ! What about greenwashing? What about greenwashing?
When I'm trying to say,
but just don't get this sports washing thing.
Yeah, but we got to address this because fans, and a lot of people in the chat and around have this feeling. So we got to address it and talk about it.
Yeah. Like, let me address this later.
As a no.
I just had a video to display it's not sports washing, going over the company structure. So go back in time and just understand. Wash it again, please. It's not sports washing.
I actually think with this type of financial outlay that they will be whiter than white, and you've got to be whiter than white. Look, we all know that there's some things going on anomaly-wise up in Newcastle. We know all that. There's huge anomalies at PSG and at Manchester City. They just can't afford to do that. Not with Manchester United. And to be fair, we generate the money. The club generates the income. We don't need their money. We just need their structure. And so, for me, getting rid of the parasites that we've got, which is our biggest problem, everything else would fall into place. We need their investment, their immediate investments.
Yeah.
And that is the stadium, infrastructure, training ground.
Yeah.
But we don't need their money. That's the difference between us and every other club that's been bought by, Qatar or Saudi Arabia or.
Yeah. Now, can I address this sports washing in its finest? Like, I think we've been gone over this with human rights and sports washing, everything that's been smeared by British media, like, Evo, and I understand that. But if you go back and have a look, I just went over the whole company structure and what it is. Like, it's not state-backed, it's a holding group, it's a parent company, and it's just basically investing in its children, pretty much. It's not sports washing. But then, you can argue to the point, well, Qatar is a state, they will do anything. Same with Saudi Arabia. Like, if you look at the Middle East right now, they are expanding the portfolio because oil and gas is not just, what they are right now. They want to invest in sports. Like, look at Saudi Arabia. They're propping up their own professional league. You saw what's going on in the summer. QIA, Qatar Investment Authorities, they just won the bid for F1, like, and they're going to host that Qatari, F1 race in Qatar as well. So in a couple of weeks. And
right, it happened at the weekend, but they've got it wrong.
Yeah, it happened on the weekend. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they got it wrong in terms of it was too hot for the drivers. The drivers are passing.
Yeah, it's hot right now. Yes.
Well, what you say is right, because there'll be there's an F1 in Jeddah.
In Jeddah as well. Yeah. So what I'm saying now, like, the reason why they're going for sports is because they want to broaden the portfolio. Yeah. Same with UAE, like, oil is going to run out soon. Gas going to run out soon. Like, sports is the new thing. Sports is for the escapism. There's big TV rights money. You have, like, huge. You have, like, beIN Sports and stuff like that. And they've been offering the Glazers a way out to say, look, we will build your stadium. You can host the NBA games and stuff like that. Like, did I say NBA? NFL games and stuff like that. Buccaneers. Yeah. You can have a slice of that TV rights, and they will give you billions, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I knew this all along, and when I saw this restructuring bit of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it means, like, it sounds a little bit of a defeated man, doing this concession with the hope of fear that maybe Joel and Avram will sort of take the bait, because he identified the weakest link, and there's those two. But people forget that you have a family of 6 that is equal slice of the pie, right? So in order for them, he has to buy them out, 4 siblings, and even you got to question, what is that 1.5 billion going to? It's not going to cover enough. No, is that going directly into to Joel and Avram to pay off the 4 siblings? Even that's not going to be enough. For me, that's a lot of props and smoke screens. For me, it's always been all roads lead to Qatar. I stand firm by that, by saying so. May I be slated for it, but somebody's been covering this for a very long time. I'm not going to say 100%. Never. It's never 100%. Like, you don't make the weather. You just report on the weather. You know what I mean? Yeah. And anything can happen. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm aware what the Qataris is doing, but I'm also in a situation where I don't talk more about it, more to maybe you, Jarvis, or But at the end of the day, I've been quiet because I think that just sit and wait. That's all we can do right now, because it's not within. I mean, I think the sales takeover is done. It's over. That's it. There's no more. There's no more minority investments. There's no more. That's it. Right? And it comes down to one thing only: money.
Yeah, sure.
And the rest is more fear. But I always say, don't ever let your fear and emotions clog your judgment. Stay clear, be cool and composed, because one thing we know about Glazers is all about money. That's it. If you all of a sudden come in and clear the debt, which some people say, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. If you clear the debt, you clear the credit history. And plus, you give each of everyone 1 billion each in the pocket, tax-free, because they're registered in Cayman Island.
Yeah, they
each
are.
And everyone, each and everyone will walk away as a winner.
$1 billion. What's that? 800 million, something like that. 800 million.
This is the sad point. This is a sad point for Manchester United fans.
You know, it is.
Can I just finish this speech? Yeah. This is the sad part, because Malcolm Glazers had the right intention. He wanted to make good for Buccaneers. He wanted to do good for, he invested because he believed in it. But since he passed away, the 6 siblings that was fed with the golden spoon, because Malcolm worked his ass off when, he built his empire from scratch.
He did.
Typical golden spoon.
Yeah, he did.
They have been clueless. They've just been using this as an ATM, every quarter ATM. But since that stopped in January, they have not been able to take any money. They had not been involved in the, giving any money in the transfer window, because that was Bank of America overdraft anyway. And they've been trying to play you to say that we have an upper hand, which they don't. They have a very pressured hand with the current own financial situations. For the financial reports that haven't come out as of yet.
No.
They have a suspension to the 31st of October. And let me tell you why. Normally, that financial report comes out 22nd, 20th as a clockwork. Year in, year out. Yeah. This time around, they're hiding it on purpose. Because here you have to declare purchase of the club, or the sales process is still ongoing.
That's the
They
one.
don't want to do either.
Yeah,
They don't want to
that's
do
the one.
either. Meaning that something is brewing in the background, meaning that you connect the dots to say something's going to happen, because it doesn't make sense that the Glazers makes the budget for the next year, financial budget, if you come in as a new owner to run on that budget. I mean, I'm just speaking from a business. Jarvis, you know what I'm talking about, right? You run your own business.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, it's just me now. Just using you as a, what do you call it, ball plunk, throwing balls.
Yeah, as an
Plank.
example.
Whether we like it or not, though, Malcolm Glazer was one astute businessman. Businessman.
But he was involved with the Buccaneers. He loved them. They loved them at the Buccaneers.
They did, yeah. And those kids all have benefited from it because they own the golden goose in sports. Manchester United, the golden egg in sports. It's they can do what they like with it. And
but the sad part is they walk away as winners because they haven't done nothing. Not even a lick of paint or Old Trafford. The old lady's been bleeding, been rotting since 18 years since they bought it over, right? We're falling so behind in that stadium. It's not funny. If you want to have a good experience, you go to Hotspur Stadium, right? You have everything there, right? Latest and greatest. That's just an example, like.
Stadium's awful. It's
Edward Reed, what Edward Reed is saying here in the comments says, if Glazers can take dividends out, then what's the point of them staying? 100%. There's no point. We are just taking the main thing that meant something for them to take out money. That was blocked in December, January on purpose, right? On purpose.
Well, to be fair, the Glazers, they could turn it around if they put their own money in, but they don't want to invest in the club, and that's their biggest problem. And the club is basically bankrupt. We don't have any money. We don't have any liquidity. We only have assets in the stadium and the players and the brand, but they won't put any money in. Okay.
I'm going to ask you.
They can sit on it for 10 more years and we can be relegated and it will be worth nothing. So now is the right time for them to sell.
No, I mean, yes, there's so many moving components in this. So, I just lose track of all the balls that's up in the air. Sometimes I just drop them all and just forget about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But today is a good point because today marks the day we don't have any football. We can talk about moving forward, which is part of this show as well, to say that, okay, Stu Woolley, you understand business in a certain ways. If you would invest in a company, you would invest to make it successful, right?
Yeah. So
any person would do that, right?
Yeah. So I should tell you, I'm a commercial director as well as a journalist. So I understand business.
You know what commercial director is? Okay.
Yeah, I understand your business, and I hate the Glaze and everything they stand for, but the way that they've maneuvered themselves into a multi-billion-dollar sale has been, from a business point of view, has been amazing. They are as astute as it gets. But I said right from the day, as soon as it was announced 11 months ago, it would take 12 to 18 months for this sale to go through because of the numbers that you're dealing with. And I also 100%. said, as soon as Chelsea was sold for 2.5 billion, we know
but there was a fire sale. There was a governmental
and that was a fire sale. I knew then that the Glazers would start looking at it because they would. Chelsea have changed the course of football twice. First, when Roman Abramovich came in and he started the transfer fees, and the second part was the sale, the fire sale. And this is where the Glazers are now. The Glazers know the value of the club. They know it's only worth 3.5 billion. And they know 5 billion is a good deal, $6 billion is a good deal. They know all of this, but they're pushing and pushing and pushing like any seller would do until you meet my number. That's how it goes. And where you are now, and I think I actually agree with you, Mick. I think the sale's done. It's the negotiations of the nitty gritty, the little parts of the puzzle that who gets.
It's more of the. If you've been involved as a commercial director, you know that any acquisition will take up to 18 months, what you said, right? You mentioned a valid point regarding Chelsea, but that was a sanction against Abramovich. There was a fire sale. Otherwise, Chelsea will go in administration, right? This sales process was always designed as a shadow bidding by Rainy Group just to lure in the highest bidders. That's why you saw them mingling in the World Cup with the Royals and the Sheikhs and Saudis, because they wanted to get as much buck as they want. They were broke. That's why they went out for
Exactly
last
right.
year. They run out of options. Bank of America say no more drafts. You've been using credit cards for everything. You've been bad business owners. That is the fact, guys. That is the facts. Facts are there. Spreadsheets are there. Right? We've been going on the transfer market, borrowing on credit card, buying, and we need to pay it back. We can't afford it. So for them to stay on and for them to have 25% doesn't make any sense. It's just smoke screens for me, right?
No, it is smoke screen. And don't forget, Mick, we've got to pay, the Rain Group. The Rain Group.
Exactly. Look at what Royden is saying here. Hang on a second. 18 months for Newcastle to be sold.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, the Rain Group. The Rain Group have got to be paid. The minor
100%.
shareholders can sue. The minor shareholders can take the Glazers to court for non-sale.
The endless of billable hours that's gone out by solicitors. The endless of traveling. The endless of course, they work on commission on a retainer Rain Group, and they want to get paid.
Of course.
How much they're going to get paid, I don't know. But 100%, and I'm looking at what Scotty at the wheel is saying here, and this is exactly what I covered like months and months ago. Why Ineos are interested, not only for sporting reason, but it's this as well. Because I covered this months ago in my podcast to say underneath Greater Manchester area, they own the fracking rights, right? I can't remember what it's called, but 948 something like that is called something. I don't have it in my mind right now, but they own the fracking rights, right? They did in Hume. They did fracking in Hume a couple of years ago, but they own the fracking rights. You can just look it up. They own the fracking rights. So if you own the land asset, you own the fracking rights underneath. So it makes sense if you knock down and move the stadiums, you can frack. The end of the day, Ineos is a petrochemical company.
That's right.
That's the thing. That's it. Yeah, fracking.
It will take time. I just Googled when the first rumors for the Newcastle takeover was around, and it was, as I can see, it was April 2020, and the takeover was what was it? It was October 2021. So it was basically 18 months.
But another thing, there's a long months. But you got to look at where the wallet of the owners is hurting at the moment. If it's hurting, they are desperate to get out of it. You got to also look at, from a commercial director perspective, that all the sponsorship deals they've been negotiating for the future owner as well, part of the deal as well, not for the Glazers. Not for the Glazers. They added a sponsorship deal, which is kicking in. It's an extension, 2025, right? The Qualcomm kicks in next season for 1 year at what the time. Who knows if, Qatar or 92 Holding Foundation wants Qualcomm. They might have something else like Fly Qatar or whatever, So for me, all roads goes to Doha. For me, I'm saying this deal was on in principle verbally agreed with the Glazers and Rain Group, because Rain Group is there to sort of advise to say, close this deal, right? We want to get paid.
Well, they want to pay.
It doesn't take you 10 months to quarrel and argue between the siblings to come to an agreement how to split that cake. Everyone's going to get their birthday cake eventually, right?
Well, that's it. But I mean, if it was me, I'd stick it into escrow, and I'd say,
I'm just.
There it is. That's yours.
I don't know if it was you. I want to hear from the VR room as well, from the chat room as well. I'm personally fed up. The way we were playing football, but this is part of the discussion. Moving forward ahead right now. Jarvis and Stu and Tom. Where did you go? Tom, journalist, is definitely getting a new structure. Like you've seen what happened to Newcastle, and the same thing will happen to Manchester United. Right? It's going to be organically. It's not going to be like a quick fix, because you fans are just used to quick fixes. If we only get rid of Rashford, we'll be good. If we only sack this manager, we will be better. And 18 months down the track, we're sitting here having the same conversation because we sacked the manager and we fell for the trap again. But with this time around, the cycle will be broken. The curse will be broken with new ownership, right? Now, it's going to be a learning curve for them as well, because they're going to appoint the right people. But that's why they kind of, according to my opinion, surrounding themselves with club ambassadors like, Kean, Ferdinand, people that understand the club, to guide them to the right direction. Will also the links to the new sporting director and Paul Mitchell and stuff like that. Just best in class. And rest assured that CEO will be gone. What's his name? Richard Clownard.
Yeah.
Clownard. And the fake sporting director as well, which is just there as a prop, just to sell, like, we have a sporting director. They didn't want to have a sporting director in the first place. They just put somebody in there, if you guys remember.
One they can't control.
One they can't
control.
We need
a triangle with the Ragnick and Mitchell.
Glazer's model is to sabotage. Guys, think about it. Stop. Think about it. Glazer's model is about riot. It's all about sabotage, right? It's just to sell you this prop and smokescreen. The next year we will sabotage. And what better way is to put a fake sporting director that is a yes man above the manager, that the manager reports that they will sabotage him. You come to this sporting director, say, this is my wish list of the players I want. He totally gives him wrong players to sabotage. Oh, what's this? Am I speaking sense?
Because my eyes are so tired. I
think. Does this make any sense? Does this make any sense, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the VR room? Just look at that. It's there, black and white. Every manager's been there under the sort of sporting manager has been destroyed. Before it wasn't a sporting manager, there was Matt Judge, or there was direct reports into the clown himself.
Yeah, Judge.
Right? They made the signings himself as well. So it's clearly like to have full control of the club, of the football operation and everything, just to sabotage, to make this Glazeonomics working. But that's got to go, 100%. I'm calling this person out because he's useless. I've spoken to him before in the market. So he's a nice guy though, but he's clueless. Anyway, it's been a long stream, gents, ladies and gentlemen. I know let's hope and pray soon we will have a better day with new ownership moving forward. So hopefully the way we will turn around, Jarvis, is what? Believe, confidence.
Yeah, we gotta believe.
We have confidence now. And do we believe?
I will be extremely disappointed if this takeover doesn't take place and the Glazer decide not to sell. I think the club will, the fan base will be furious, and
but it will one thing I can say for sure, they will sell because they don't have anywhere to run.
I believe
they have nowhere to go. We've gone through this sales takeover process. You have numerous of interested parties to sign the NDA. They had access to the data room, the financial reports, and walked away. We're talking about who we're talking about, Liberty Media and all them stuff, investors, hedge funds. They all walked away. That's the thing. So they're back at where. I mean, I think they're disappointed. I think that they thought they would have a 10 billion evaluation, something like that. But in the current financial situation where the world is looking like, they're not going to get much, right? We're talking about credit crisis. We're talking about recessions. We're talking about this. So if they think they can hold on for another 2 years, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Gents, I've got to disappear. I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Listen, it was we're not playing football, but thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Tom, journalist, for coming in. Thank you for the moderator. Thank you for Mark, that's been moderating the chat here in the background. Thank you, Bella, as well, for being such an amazing assistant and host of Mufc Realist TV. Thank you, everyone that's supporting this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace, love, and banana, right?
And Glazers out.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is green and gold until we're sold, but we got to take it away with Bella. Okay, Bella opens the show, Bella exits the show. Guys, Glazers out, green and gold till we announce and sold. Take it easy. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, "Thanks." Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United, Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.